channel. If you're a new subscriber, hello, welcome. Check out my other videos. And if you are a returning subscriber, as always, thank you guys so much. Your support is forever appreciated, okay? So today I'll be doing a how I study in nursing school video. These tips and tricks has helped me when I was going to the accelerator program a little while ago, ECPI, and these tips and tricks are currently helping me now that I'm attending the PM program at my current college. Now, these study habits are solely based off my opinions, my experiences, and how my college presents its resources to their students, okay? So to jump right into the video, study tip number 1 would be to print off the PowerPoint. If your instructor does not print them off, you can go onto Moodle or Blackboard or simply ask your instructor, hey, could you send me the PowerPoint and I can print it off at home, or could you print the PowerPoint out so I can have it for class? Either one of those will work, okay? When an instructor prints off their PowerPoints, they let me know that they went over the unit or they went over the chapter and pulled the most vital points from the chapter, and we're going to go over that in class. You can always refer to the book. In fact, I encourage to always go back to your book. Do not just study the PowerPoint. Though the PowerPoint will have vital information, but you're going to need the book to fill in those blanks, okay, to get a better understanding of what those key topics are talking about. And also, instead of having to sit there and write long page notes line after line, having a sore hand trying to keep up with what the instructor is saying, keeping up with what's on the screen from the PowerPoint is your notes, okay? Make little side notes, draw little pictures, little arrows to indicate this is important. This is an important concept. The teacher said we're going to see it again. 9 times out of 10, it's going to be on a test. Okay, it's just a lot easier for you to circle, underline, highlight whatever the important concept is that's on that screen at the time, instead of having to write over and over and over. To me, when you're in class and you're writing as the instructor is talking while you have a slide up on the screen, for one, you cannot comprehend what he's talking about because you're too busy writing. And I feel like in class, your main job is to sit there and be an active listener and to ask questions and really absorb what the instructor is teaching at the time. You know what I'm saying? So when you're writing or doing other things, you're harming yourself from absorbing that information, okay? The PowerPoint is your notes. Just go back, circle and highlight what it is you need to know for that concept, okay? So tip number 2 would be to stick to the basics, which to kind of reinforce what I said a few seconds ago. There's no point in you writing your notes 3 times in a row. Yeah, you may memorize it, but are you learning it? Can you understand it? Can you apply this concept to an actual nursing question and get the right answer, you know? One thing I've learned in nursing school back when I was going to the accelerator program, memorization is not going to save you in the long run, okay? I feel like memorization and cheating kind of go hand in hand. Yeah, you might get the right answer, but you're not learning it. You're not benefiting from it in an effective way, okay? So stick to the basics, study what's on the PowerPoint, and refer back to the book. That is all I do. And also, flashcards. Since day 1 of nursing school, flashcards have saved my hind part. If you go through my binder, I don't have page written notes. I have flashcards into like the little page protectors. I have like 75 flashcards in those page protectors, and I refer to them. It's so easy, it's so convenient. I take my flashcards to work, you know, to flip them over, study while I'm on my break, study while I'm on my 15. They are so convenient. Stick to the flashcards. That will be a part of sticking to the basics, okay? Also, that is my phone. I have not been able to find my phone for like hours. Like, for real. My phone has been missing for like 3 hours. Anyways, tip number 3, use your resources. In nursing school, your resources would be F.A. Davis, ATI, tutoring sessions, your peers. My main 2 resources that I use before a test is F.A. Davis, because you can pick certain topics or pick certain concepts and make a personalized quiz and quiz yourself, which comes in handy. And what I mean by that is, say the concept is assessments, okay? And the topics under assessments would be vital signs, head to toe assessment, initial assessment, ongoing assessment, and that would be the whole quiz. And when you end the quiz, you get like a little report that tells you what's your weaknesses and what's your strengths. So vital signs would be you might get like a 40% on your vital signs, or 40% on your head to toe assessment, and like 100 on initial assessment and 100 on ongoing. That means you understand completely what an ongoing assessment is, what an initial assessment is. Anything that you scored, I would say 80 and below, I would go back and study the concept, retake the quiz, and see where you are. Okay, ATI, there's a lot of mixed feelings with ATI. Speaking up from experience, so far sometimes ATI will correlate with what we're going over for the unit. Sometimes it will be just out of, I don't know where they get the topics for ATI, but I want to say depending on what unit or what topic you're going over, ATI can be a very good study source for you. Even in the past, I have had instructors pull questions from ATI and questions from FA Davis. And if it wasn't for me taking the initial step or the extra step to go use those study resources, I would have got those questions wrong. Okay, I'm telling you, use your resources, they're free. Anytime that you don't understand a concept, just go ahead and initiate a tutoring session or initiate some time after class to see if your instructor can go over that concept with you, because I promise you, it never fails. I promise you. Anytime your instructor sees you taking the extra mile to understand a concept, they see you trying in class, they see you asking questions, they're gonna want to help you even more. Okay, they're gonna really want to take that extra step to help you because they see you're taking that extra step to try and help yourself. Okay, so study tip number 4 would be never read ahead. And this is another one that people have mixed feelings about. Me specifically, like take for instance, we just had our unit 3 test. Okay, we're going to be learning about unit 4. I don't see a point in me really going to read ahead about oxygenation or perfusion because I don't know what none of that stuff is. I can't even tell you, I can't even guess. I don't know. Okay, there's no point in me going to read through the chapters, having a perceived idea of what it is, and then come to class the next day and the instructor says, this is what the book says, but I want you to think about it in this sense. I want you to think about it in this way because it's a lot easier. Then I've already read ahead and I'm already taking into account what my instructor is saying. I'm going to be conflicted. You get what I'm saying? So never read ahead. Sometimes it can be beneficial, but in my experience, it has not. Okay, because you never know what your instructor is going to tell you to read. You never know what your instructor is going to tell you to ignore. Okay, so my biggest takeaway from how I study in nursing school would have to be the end of the chapter questions and the learning outcomes and objectives. And what I mean by that is, anytime you're reading a chapter, in the beginning of the chapter, you'll have key terms, which is like vocabulary, and you're going to have the learning outcomes or learning objectives, okay? As soon as it focuses, it'll be in that second column, this column right here. I want to say there's 13. So if you can read this chapter, and once you're finished reading, go through each learning outcome one by one. For example, the first one is list risk factors and signs and symptoms of cancer of the kidneys. If you can do that or find it in the book, cross it out. You understand that concept. Move on. Discuss nursing care for a patient with an ileal conduit or continent reservoir. If you can understand that, you can find it in the book, then you're good. You understand the key outcomes for this chapter, which means you can understand the material that was written in this chapter in a way where you can apply it, or if it was applied to a nursing scenario question, you would know what to do, okay? And the end of the chapter questions, which is pretty self-explanatory. If you can answer the end of the chapter questions and get most of them right, you understand the concept of this chapter. And that has been the biggest takeaway, because it's like, it may seem like a lot, but I promise you it'll benefit you in the end. I have my test grades to reflect how I studied. And if you want this degree bad enough, I promise you none of this will ever seem like it's too much. It can be overwhelming sometimes. Trust me, I had an overwhelming past week, but doing this stuff will help you. I promise you, it's not a lot. And if you don't want to do that, then just do the learning outcomes and do the chapter questions for another time, or just do the questions and do the learning outcomes another time, okay? But this is realistically what I do to prepare myself for every test, or even when I'm just studying in general. Definitely do the flashcards, because I don't write my notes. I personally don't write handwritten, like the paragraph form notes. I don't do that. I do flashcards, strictly flashcards. So to recap for the video, how I study in nursing school would be print up your PowerPoints, stick to the basics. There's no need to write in your notes 3 or 4 times in a row, because memorization is never the key. You're never going to understand it that way, okay? You're cheating yourself. Tip number 3, use your resources. Have tutoring sessions. Have study groups with your peers. F.A. Davis, HEI, personalized quiz. Never read ahead because it can confuse you, okay? You never know what to look out for. You never know what's not important. And tip number 5, which we just went over, end of the chapter questions and the key objectives for the chapter. So if you enjoyed this video or you learned some new study habits, let me know down below in the comment section. Or if you have any other study tips that helped you that I did not go over, please feel free to list them down in the comment section below. And thank you guys. I'll see you guys in my next video.